Humera Malik, I'd like to ask you about Canvas, particularly because what you've been looking at is how industrial companies think about business transformation, and you're looking at transport, manufacturing, retail, energy, industrial AI, how to maximize output, how to optimize process reliability to reduce defects. Give us a sense of some of these things that you do, and give us some examples of real-life stuff that you're doing, the way you use your analytics embodying AI.
Sure. And I'll continue on what you started. I think it's a question of demand and supply. So what Canvas Analytics, or what my company really looks at, is it's a matter of how the world of industrial side is preparing itself for the future. We are tackling an industry that I call a sleeping giant. That industry hasn't evolved. Every time it has to evolve, it has to go through a revolution. An industrial revolution that we're going through right now, which is called the fourth industrial revolution. The industry can't change without going through a revolution. So the journey we embarked on is, here's an industry that's trying to meet the demands of the future. The future is, how much food do we need to produce? How much energy do we need to produce? How many cars do we need to produce? So now if you look at that industry and you look at how and where it is, in current state, it's not going to meet the growing needs of the food demands that we have and the energy demands that we have.
Is that because of the increase in population, 7 billion to 9 billion
Correct.
over the next 20 years?
That's right. The number of people that are going to be on this planet Earth, the current structure that we have of the industrial side is not going to be able to meet those demands. So humans are not meant for doing repetitive functions that we do today in these industrial environments. Right. So humans are constantly, you talked about some of these functions that do up to 30%. In certain industrial operations, they do 100% of those repetitive functions. So naked eye inspections every day. I'm looking at parts that I'm producing, and I'm doing naked eye inspections of those parts. That's not what humans are meant for. We've got better tools to do it. How do we use those tools is really where AI plays a role. AI comes in to learn. This is machine learning and AI, where it comes in to play a role and learn these functions and actually tries and automate these functions. From there on, what you go in, you put humans, the dark side of it, you actually put them at higher level functions. And that's really where the learning of algorithms and things come. We went out to actually disrupt this market because we believe that everybody, it's a very focused approach we took. We took an approach on the industrial market because, first of all, it has large amounts of data. They're data-rich, information-poor industry. It seems to be the right target
for the manufacturing industry.
The manufacturing industry. It's a lot of data, but there is no information that's being generated from that data.
Why is that?
Because they just haven't had the ability to. It's a very siloed way of operating that they have had. Right. So a company that has got 300 operations around the world, everything is very siloed. And they just haven't embarked on it. They haven't just gone on it.
But surely if you're looking at scaling up, like has happened with Chinese manufacture, wouldn't data be just a fundamental element of it?
I was with one of the largest Chinese manufacturers this morning, and you would think that would be the case, but it's not. And because we haven't built this industry to be data-driven, that's why. And so they have embarked on this journey of industrial revolution where they're going down this path of creating digital environments so they can start to actually collect this data. We come in because what we're trying to do at Canvas is we're basically creating data scientists within these environments. We're making an industrial operator into a data scientist by packaging all of the AI into our product and now allowing them to start using it day one, start using it. Don't wait for somebody to come in and they're going to bring in a team of data scientists. Start using it today. It's not an easy journey. It's really where you actually take a kid and you start teaching them how to use AI. So what we have done is we have taken this journey and we have actually gone and embarked on this journey to go out and transform everybody and make them into data scientists. And that's because we think this is an industry that was waiting for something like this to happen. We have actually brought in Google as an investor. They have come in and they have joined hands with us because we all believe that this is the future.
Well, as Virginie mentioned about Google, of course, they spent $400 million buying DeepMind,
correct,
which a very successful company. But let me ask you this. If you look at your analysis and your analyzing, would I be correct in saying that the idea is to predict, adapt, and then does that lead to scale? Give us some sense of that.
The idea is to optimize, automate, and create autonomous operations.
Autonomous operations.
Correct.
And then how do you make that transition so that you literally change not only your machine line, but your human component?
So today it's more of a very looking at it when things have happened, looking at quality of what you have produced after it has happened, and all that has now become scrap. What we're allowing them to do is use that data to know what you're going to produce. What would be the quality of the sugar, the starch? What would be the quality of the pasta that I'm going to produce? And how can I increase the shelf life of that pasta by knowing everything that is happening throughout the production process? That's what we do. We actually go in and put AI around the industrial operation, around that process, for them to know in the future, 20 minutes in advance, an hour in advance, 45 days in advance, what is going to happen. From there on, these AI agents actually learn from that environment. And from there on, these AI agents then completely automate. Now they're drawing inferences. They're the ones who are making decisions and implementing decisions at the end.
So would this also give you some idea about predictive maintenance, for example, of your line, of your machinery?
So when you look at a process, it's got the two layers to it. It's got the assets, the actual equipment that's running the process, and then the process metrics itself. So we actually look at the holistic 360 view of the process, and we say how the assets are performing so that you would know how your process is performing, and you would know what your yield would look like, not just in terms of the volume of the yield, but actual quality of the yield that you're producing as well. Energy is one continuous process, and it's one of the highest costs that these plants use. We go in and we actually tell them how much energy they're consuming and how much they should be consuming, which is predicting how much they should be consuming. So at certain points, they're actually able to reduce the amount of energy that they use throughout their production processes.
So one of the things about AI and the huge amounts of data that you have to crunch to get it is the huge amount of energy that is being used. One of the leading companies in the world is actually based in Siberia. Because of the cold weather, it's less than ½ a cent per kilowatt hour of providing the energy. Someone has said that you might need more nuclear power plants to just basically process the energy that's going to be required for this AI revolution. Is that correct? Is that accurate?
To a certain extent, yes, but that's really where AI comes in to change that. If we don't change it now, that is what's going to happen. And that's really where a lot of these things are turning into creating efficient energy, so that it's about efficient energy utilization. It's not about, I need to always run all of my energy assets at the maximum capacity. I need to run them as per the demand of what my utilization would be.
Right.
And that's really the key role AI plays.
And so in terms of the way that you operate, you're Canadian, Toronto, now a key center for global AI creativity and innovation, but you're looking at global clients and a global remit for basically doing this analytical surgery.
Correct. Analytical surgery, yes, that's a good way to put it. We actually work with clients in North America, in Europe, and now in Asia as well. So we're actually launching customers now here in Singapore. We're working with people in China. There's a need for AI everywhere, but there's a place to get started with it. And I think everybody has embarked on this journey. We're finding different people at different stages of going on the AI journey. When somebody says, I have an AI project, it's an interesting question to me, because you really don't know what you're looking for. You basically need to embark on a journey which is going to make future for you, and AI is just part of it. So we're finding people all over the place, actually. We've found Singapore market to be very, very progressive.
Why is that?
I think because here, the realization that humans are not going to be enough to continue, and the dark side that you talk about. I'm a Star Wars fan, so I look at Force. Force has got two aspects to it. There's a Force positive and a Force negative part. And the negative part, the dark part of this Force is, you have to be ready to embrace that it's going to, at certain point, replace certain jobs. That doesn't mean it's taking away those jobs. It means that it's going to create a new set of jobs that we don't even know that exist today.
Absolutely correct.